would say to them.
Professor Nalapat, isn't it offensive taking up the issue of Kashmir when I've also read out in my opening monologue that we've just had successful elections over there? Why aren't they having debates on POK? Why aren't they having debates of what's happening to the Hindus in Bangladesh? Why aren't they having debates in Oxford to what's happening to the Uyghur Muslims in China?
Well, the answer to that is obviously that many of the students there don't want to have these debates. And may I point out, Vineet, that I am surprised that anyone is taking the Oxford Union seriously. We all recall on 9 February 1933, they had a debate called For King and Country. And the resolution was that we are not willing to fight for king and country. Remember, this is just a few weeks before Hitler came to power. King and the overwhelming vote, 275 if I remember, versus 153 against, was that we are not going to fight for king and country. That had a big impact on Adolf Hitler. That had a huge impact on him and convinced him the British establishment will just not fight. He had a very high regard for the power of the British establishment, a very high regard for the influence of the Oxford University on the British establishment, and he said, look at this, we are not going to fight for king and country. The Oxford Union has passed a resolution like that. So, very frankly, the Oxford Union passes resolutions that are getting more and more ridiculous and more absurd. And less people are taking the Oxford Union seriously. So, frankly, I agree with Sumit that perhaps an Indian university should get into a debate on is it a disunited kingdom or a united kingdom, and invite Welsh nationalists, Scottish nationalists, Irish nationalists, and let them all say, because we all know what happened during Brexit. Brexit was entirely because of the English vote. The Scots didn't like it, the Welsh didn't like it, the Irish didn't like it, the English liked it, and they voted for Brexit. And after that, Britain has been, frankly, the other regions have just not been cooperating with the British, and the European Union also put multiple obstacles in the way of Britain, and as a consequence, there is a strong feeling that perhaps this was a mistake. The way it was implemented was certainly a mistake. Boris Johnson, frankly, quintessential Englishman, if I may say so. He's nothing to do with Wales or Scotland or Ireland. And when he was a journalist in that period, he wrote column after column attacking attacking, quite frankly, the European countries, attacking them very badly. But the fact of the matter is that this is the same Oxford Union that passed a resolution in 1933, I think on the eve of Hitler's coming to power, that we are not ready to fight for king and country. And for a long time that was true, until by some accident Churchill became the Prime Minister and things changed. Had Churchill not been the Prime Minister, quite frankly, Britain would have done exactly what Hitler expected to do. From 1933 onwards, it is just not fight. It didn't fight when Germany reoccupied the Rhineland, when Germany occupied Austria, and when Germany took over Czechoslovakia. The English the Prime Minister of Britain and the Prime Minister of France were falling over each other to say, please go ahead. And Chamberlain relied on a ridiculous document that Hitler had no intention of taking seriously. We all know that, there is a certain country, there are some countries who sign anything without meaning to keep anything. And quite frankly, Hitler broke it by marching into Poland, and there was the war was declared. And for a long time, until the French were invaded, Netherlands was invaded, only then did they wake up to the fact that yes, this is a guy who's going to fight. And he's fighting because he believes we won't fight. And frankly, the French did not fight very much. The British, fortunately, Hitler invaded Russia, and fortunately, Roosevelt was the president. So he ensured massive assistance to Russia and to Britain once the Japanese made the mistake of invading Pearl Harbor in 1941. And from then on, as far as Hitler was concerned, the war was lost. The attack on Russia from that time onwards, and once the Americans entered the war thanks to Pearl Harbor, the war was lost. But as far as Britain is concerned, the British establishment is concerned, the English establishment, quite frankly, they were exactly what the Oxford Union, hinted that they would be, absolutely unwilling to fight even for their own freedom and security. Thank you, Vinny.
Absolutely right, sir. And Dr. Kohli, well, when